Linkup.
Long time we have the swagger. I want to them your little brother. A long time we have the swagger. It's Mr. Melody again. We said the
PPS Global Linkup.net here with the man, the musician, the legend, singing Melody.
That's a big title.
Well-deserved title.
Well, thank you.
You've been in the industry for a good long time. What have you been doing?
Well, you know, it's really a chemistry that really works with a good team. And not just so much like the artists make it up too, but having a good team and support over the years will definitely keep you in the game because, you know, you have people looking out for you, you know, and, you know, you have to, because every day new people come in the game, so you have to create your own space and work it, you know, and keep it fresh at all times, you know. So as the music change and style change and instrument changes and everything changes, then you change with it. So you can do it.
Okay, well, you're kind of known as a charmer, you know, the big voice out there. Do you find it's harder in the industry to make your way as a reggae artist more so than dancehall these days?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, for me, it's like, you know, like I said, my fan base is out there, you know, and I managed to create that from the 80s up and keep growing. So for me, it's like, you know, regardless of what's going on, we still have good reggae music that it maintains, because without reggae music is like the root of everything. So without reggae music, there is no such thing as dancehall. You know, reggae is the foundation. So for me, it's like, you know, I feel honored to be a reggae artist, you know, and even the fight, I feel honored to fight because I know that there's a great legacy that, you know, my people such as Dennis Brown, Reggae, and all those great artists who have actually worked their butt off to create this environment, you know, Bob Marley and such, to create this environment so we can have it.
Now, you just released an album in January.
Yes. January 17th.
January 17th.
They call me Mr. Melody. That's the name of the album. The album was produced by, you know, Shem Music and Fat Eyes. Fat Eyes is really, you know, my label that I've been with for over 15 years, working relationship, and I decided to take on the project. So I said there's no way I would want to take on a project like this without get my original producer involved. And we partner on this album and we come together and work this album. It's a 13-track album. Music springs from the foundation people who started it. You know, we give honor to those people. There's Lovers Rock. There is a little bit of R&B, there's a little bit of pop. There's everything on this album for everyone. There's a song on this album for everyone. And we wanted to do this a long time ago. Not that the other albums that I've done, there's not music on it for everyone, but because, you know, I over the years of working my career and looking at my catalog and what I've done before, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to do something that people can say, well, you know, it's catering for everybody, down to the baby, you know. So, you know, before I used to target like a certain age group, but now I've changed that because I wanted to grow my fan base. I wanted my fan base to not just be from 17 up, you know, I wanted to be from 13, from 10. As soon as you're born, you want to know about singing melody kind of thing. So I think I've managed to do that with this album. I think I've bridged the gap. I've bridged the generation gap in terms of genres and vibe and energy and feel. There's everything. There's dancehall, there's cultural music, there's inspirational music, there's everything that you can think about. I think this album is some of the best work I've ever done.
Collide has been receiving a lot of attention. Did you expect it to be that successful?
Well, personally, I'm gonna say this personally. For this album, I particularly wanted to do an album with only original songs. You know, it's a deliberate thing because I've been looking at my career over the years and I've been saying, what is it that the fans really love about singing melody? Is that they love singing melody because of some covers that I've done, or it's on a wide section of music that I've done that they love? So I wanted to make an album with just original music that I put out and say, this is some of my best work. What do you think about it? And see how they respond to that. Now, however, My producer brought the song to me about 4 years ago, as usual. Always finding songs that he thinks that I can do well with, and he brought it to me and he says, Melody, this is a good song. I said, Fata, yeah, but you know, nothing but the album has just original music. And he said, no man, think about it, man. This song is really good and it will fit you. And I said, boy, I don't know. So I said, all right. So I went off and I produced the song by myself and bring it back to him. And he said, no, that's not the way I wanted the song to produce. So went back to studio, we get back the musicians together and we go into studio and we lay the track. And it was just a different vibe, you know, and I said, wow, this is good. But I never thought of it being on the album. I think that it was going to be a song that I put out as a single, and we wanted to just put it out and see the response from it. But then after doing so, you know, the response on the song was really fantastic. It was really great. We went in and we got the video shot, and it was just awesome because we wanted to create, when we saw the potential of the song, though, we said, you know, wanted a video that explains everything, such as what is it about Singing Melody coming? What is it about this song, especially coming, bringing back Singing Melody, returning to the fans, and having a video sending what message? You know, the song is about, you know, people who get into a relationship and it falls down, but we have to understand that even the best sometimes fall down, but it's all you get up and move again. Right. And so I wanted the video to be more like of a redemption kind of vibe, you know, where Singing Melody is coming back to the fans and then sending a strong message with family reuniting.
Right.
So it was really a blast when the video came out. It was just shooting. People were just loving the video. So we decided to put the single on the album.
Okay.
And that's what did it. People are now finding a song for themselves on the album to play. For instance, there's Smile. It's been charted in different parts of the world. People just take the song off the album and chart it and say, this is another hit. People are working with Time Wasted as the follow-up single for Collide. There is Must Be the Girl with me and Statius. There is Smile with me and Daddy Uri, as we mentioned before. There is Never Get Over You. There's Reggae to the Bone, you know, and so on. And you find that people are just loving each track as they go along. So it's amazing to see what the album is doing now. You know, the album is currently #1 in New York and #1 in South Florida. Also, the single has been #1 over 11 different places in the world, including Jamaica and so on. You know, so, you know, it's a big success. You know, the album was #6 on Billboard for about 3.5 weeks. So we're encouraging one to go out there and just get the album. You know, buy a copy of the album, whether it's on iTunes. It's on iTunes and Amazon.com, and also distributed by VP Records and the mom and pop shops. You know, your favorite location where you go and buy your record, go there, tell them to order it, or you just get it from the internet. You know, that's the best way we can say, you know, how we support the album now.
It's been a while since your last solo album. Why now to do this one?
Why now? It's a calling. As an artist, you know when the time is right. You know, your producer, your team, everyone. But being on the road with my group, Lost, as you know, I have like a double career thing where sometimes I've been with Lost, and so we spent about 6 years working together as Lost. Cool off the solo career a bit and work the group career so we can build it up, because it was always there but just hanging in the back. So I wanted to spend some time with it. And so while being on the road, fans will come up and say, hey, when you're coming up with a solo project? These are some of the comments that we've been hearing every day. Until, you know, after 6 years, I just decided, you know, it's time. I think working with Fata is definitely a nice little chemistry that works. It happens all the time and it goes right around in a circle. So we don't put out a lot of music, but when we put out music, it's well connected right away. It hits you. So I think in terms of what I do, it's definitely in a good timing. You know, my music is timeless, so therefore you will not see Singing Melody in the public eyes every day for 20 years, you know, like some artists. And then you get tired of them, and then you don't want to hear the music. You don't want to see them on the show because you see them so many times. with me, I'm like great wine. So it's like I will come out with a project now, I will work it for 3 years, then you will get another one. So you don't get me every day. I'm not like an everyday car you drive around, you know. So I guess with that, it answers the question, you know, it's with the right timing. And I think it's a cry where people is definitely needed that feel-good music again. So I feel this is the time to really come out with something like this. And luckily, the album came out right in the 50th independence of Jamaica. It was January 17th that the album came out. The independence paused and in August here, but then, you know, they were celebrating Reggae Month as well in February. So the album came out, we wanted to catch February as for the Valentine kind of vibe. You see the album jacket, it's in red and black and, you know, the whole vibe. So we wanted to catch that moment. So the album came out right on time to synchronize with everything that's going on with the Reggae Month and, you know, international, you know, even International Women's Day as well. Everything is just right in full circle.
So what's next? Are you going on tour to promote?
Yeah, well, I just finished my media tour. We started in the UK and ended up in the United States, back to Jamaica. And we did quite a few places, radio station, television, everything. And we're getting ready right now to go back to do the Caribbean part of it. And that would be in a couple of weeks from now. Okay. And then from there, in September now, we go on off to do the promotional tour, like performing the album. And we will start in the US in September and then ending up in Europe and Japan and so on. And we extend the tour as it comes along.
Okay, is there a website where people can keep up to date on where they should...
People! I love my website. It is singingmelodymusic.com. It is one of the cleanest sites out there right now. You can go on there. Where you find the Facebook, you know, you find the Twitter, which is @singingmelody. You'll find the YouTube channel there. And there's also a page called They Call Me Mr. Melody with the album. So you see everything about the album, how the album was made, documents, everything was just really nice about that. The videos in studio working with Sly and Robbie and Tony Kelly and everybody with Fata and everybody was just a nice energy that went behind this album in terms of archiving all those great stuff. So go and check out the site, singingmelodymusic.com.
Okay, you definitely stay true to your art. The CD is great. I'm hoping everyone goes out and buy it. Hit your music stores. Hit Amazon.com to buy it, iTunes.
Definitely, and in stores with VP Records and also all the distribution location that, you know, the mom and pop shops are. Yeah, you go there and pick up a copy of They Call Me Mr. Melody. The dawn is breaking. Our light shining through. You're barely waking. And I'm tangled up with you. And it's simple like that. The album They Call Me Mr. Melody in store. You know, so go out and get a copy. I just want to thank you so much for just having me. You know, I don't want to close off, but then I know you're saying that. No, you know, but wonderful. I just want to thank all the people that worked on this album. You know, from Daddy Uri as artist that I do collaborate, Liney Murray, who have done a fantastic job on this album, not just as an artist, but as a background singer to arrange most of the backgrounds and some of the songs. You know, I want to thank my producer, Linkup, Father Marshall, for doing such an excellent job by guiding this project. Make sure that we come up with the right music and all of that stuff. Good stuff. Want to thank Tony Kelly as well for being on the project, Sly and Robbie, and just want to thank my team from marketing to PR to production team, everyone who has done a great job for the media, the press, and so on. Just want to thank them for just, you know, keep supporting me and support this project as well. And I thank you very much.
Tell your friend, this is the national harder. Which part me come from, Jamaica border. Lift it and me carry it internationally harder. Left them for run the place and create peer disorder. Hey, them think me easy when me check it, them a simple something. Can me give them rubber dub, lovers rock and nothing. And we show them say a long time we are run this something. A clarity me a deal with it up. Mr. Melody again. We set the order, we set